Stacey, how did you deal with any kind of rivalry when PP was born?
Yeah, but it didn't get that dark. Thankfully. I mean, it was inevitable that it was going to be hard. You know, we had Belle first, and then 3 years later, I went on to have PP. And I must admit, when I was pregnant, I did feel a little bit guilty. Like I was kind of betraying Belle. She was the first grandchild in our family. I put her on this huge pedestal as the child I thought I'd never have. So I was nervous, and we did all the classic stuff with the books about you're going to become a big sister. I made the mistake of taking her to the ultrasound, and then she saw the baby and she said, "Oh, it looks nothing like me or you. It looks like an alien. Is that what she's going to look like?" So, yeah, top tip, don't do that. And when she was born, it was quite sad. You know, my daughter was like, "I love her, but how long is she staying? But when is she going back?" And, you know, we always talk about babies. And even since during the panel, we often talk about, you know, having other kids. And I do think I would be up for it. You know, I don't necessarily feel done. I would have a third child. But I think it's probably everyone around me that wouldn't want another one. Particularly my 7-year-old, if we had a baby now, I don't know how she'd deal with it because she loves the label of being the big sister and PP still refers to herself as the baby. Aww. So I don't think she'd want someone taking that slot.
Well, despite the fact that my Florence absolutely loves other babies, I don't think she'd take very well to not being the baby of the family anymore. I think she wouldn't react well. But when she was born, Alfie was just over the moon. I think because we come from a big family and he's got loads of cousins and stuff, I think it just seemed quite normal to have yet another person coming into the house and a little baby, and he just absolutely adores her. So I didn't really have to prepare him in a way that I thought and assumed I would have to, because they always say to you, but there he is, that's him yesterday, building his sister's new bed, bless him. But what about you, Jane? What about, because you're a blended family, aren't you?
Yeah, so when I met Gary, he had Lauren and I had Ellie, and then we ended up having Grace together. So I think when Grace was born, Ellie was about 12 and Lauren was about 17. So they were really receptive, actually, because I think maybe because of the age gap, they didn't feel threatened. And in a way, Grace was sort of like completed the circle. It was really, really nice. And they've always been amazing with her. Yeah. So it worked well. But I think maybe the closer they are in age, like yours maybe, that you could maybe feel a threat.
Because it was 3 years of ours, so
yeah.
It's different, I think. Yeah.
But how did they react when you told them?
Well, Ellie immediately... Lauren was kind of like, didn't quite get it, was going, what? And Ellie, age 12, immediately put her head down on the table in this restaurant and went, I was going, "Oh, my God, are you all right?" Thinking, oh, no, she's really upset. And then she came back at me, she went, "Oh, my God, you've had sex!" That was her only reaction. But her and Grace are literally so close now. Yeah. It's really nice.
Yeah. That's really lovely.
Well, I've got 2 stepdaughters and I really felt for them. They're so lovely, my stepdaughters, and just because there is that distance, but they really loved the babies when they came along. I had both my babies at home, so Maddie was 3 when Kiki was born, so she was there within seconds. And we still, to this day, are not sure what she meant when she said, "Is she staying forever?" We didn't know whether that was because she wants her to stay forever. I was like, "Is she staying forever?" But, you know, you have to be so careful what you say to kids, don't you? Because we never really know the way their little brains work things out. Because I did that thing, read some of the books, and it did the whole thing of, "Oh, the baby's brought you a present. She's brought you something you really will. Just go over there behind the door." And there was this lovely shiny bike. Maddie said to us years later, you know, she said, "I spent hours as a child trying to work out how that bike had come out of your nun with the baby."
Those spokes, oh, I don't know, they were really painful.
Oh, my God. Because it's so literal, which, oh, wow, she brought me the bike. Where was it? Was it under her arm?
It arrived at E.T.
But I think, you know, it's just so lovely because they are really... I think it's one of the greatest pleasures in my life, the fact that my daughters get on so brilliantly. And me and my eldest sister were incredibly close. And, in fact, we had our own language, and it was called Salas. And so nobody else could understand our language. And we used to spend hours, like, mock cooking together and creating these whole worlds. Yeah. And we could have had a separate bedroom, but we shared a bedroom. And I think that intensified our relationship. And, in fact, real 70s parenting, Mum, if you're watching, very bizarre choice. But if we did something really naughty, my mum would split us up. I mean, not naughty with each other, but just like... And
that was
so we
punishment.
worked out that the way we would get round this is we asked for those, you know, those little electronic phones that you had in the 80s, 70s.
Yeah.
And we asked for those for Christmas, and we hid one in the cupboard where I would have to go, where we were split up. And we'd literally put a pillow over the phone like this and go, and go, hi, I know, I wonder how long we're going to be kept apart. And that really stayed through.
Yeah, because I guess it's just a thing of... I always wonder whether it's our responsibility as parents to make sure they get on or if it's a natural thing. So the reason why Alfie in that picture was helping to build his sister's bed is I'm trialling them with sharing a room to see, you know, because they do just adore each other.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like... And I think that might intensify if they...
it gives more of a bond.
Yeah, and I shared a room with my sister, so it just feels like
it.
I'm just carrying that on.
I remember when we went our first holiday with before Grace was born, so Lauren and Ellie, and when they first met, as I say, there's like 6 years difference between them, and they were all kind of like, what pop band do you like? Oh, what pop band do you... And all really polite with each other. And then we went on this holiday and they started to bicker. And Gary said, oh, my God, oh, no, what's gone wrong? And I said, no, that's normal for siblings to just, like, they're now starting to feel comfortable enough with each other that they can have a little bicker.
Yeah.
And do yours get on, Katie?
Yeah, I mean, ours are brilliant because lockdown has been so good for them. You know, they've become besties. They've been together the entire time. They lead the way with each other. And I think you see with the second, the speech develops quicker because she's always with the eldest. So, yeah, I think my youngest child really admires and adores the eldest.
Yeah, and actually, I do think lockdown had a lot to do with that because my two were definitely close to having spent lockdown together. I think that's why they...
But just really quickly, because I know we've got to go, I think don't feel guilty if your children don't get on.
Yeah.
Because really that sentence, you know, we can't choose our family, is a case.
Yeah.
You know, and people do, they go, oh, why don't I get on? It's not your fault.